We're good to go. Thank you very much, Olivia. It is now 12:34. We're back in open session. I would indicate that the council went into closed session for the item indicated and for nothing else. Madam Clerk, do we have a motion?
Thank you, Mr. Warden. It's my great privilege to put this motion forward that Tara Warder be appointed the clerk for the County of Grey effective June 1st, 2022, and that an appointment bylaw be brought forward for council's consideration. Oh, wow.
My apologies. So moved by, for my friends online, moved by Councillor Keaveney, seconded by Councillor Carlton. Is there any discussion? Councillor Desai.
Thank you. Congratulations, Tara. You will have to learn how to deal with the rowdiness from the members opposite. Heather knows the stern look. She will. Point of order. I thought I had the floor.
Oops, Councillor Robinson.
There we go. Thank you, Mr. Warden, and appreciate the time delay on that. I just want to extend heartfelt congratulations to Tara. This is amazing, and the job or the career within as clerk is pretty rewarding and amazing, being around all the legislation. And I do just want to extend a congratulations to Clerk Heather Morrison for a very distinguished 32-year career with clerks and legislation, policy and procedure. I think that is incredibly outstanding, and I'm very much appreciative of everything you have done. So thank you.
Thank you, and well said, Councillor Robinson. Councillor Milne.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. And I guess I too would like to add my congratulations to both of these young ladies. Although it should be noted that Tara and I have a little thing going on desserts. And if you really want good dessert at any of these meetings, you got to talk to Tara and I, okay? Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? We're good? Okay, then I'll call the question. All those in favor? Is there anyone opposed? That is carried, and congratulations.
Thank you so much, County Council. And as Heather retires this year, so thank you so much for your support and confidence for me to take this on. Thank you.
All right, we're on to item number 8. Oh, Randy?
I was going to open the door.
Oh, the door has been open. We're in open session.
No, I'm saying open it now.
Ah,
These people want to come.
got it. Okay. All right, we're on to item number 8 now. Is there any other business? Councillor Desai.
Thank you, Warden Hicks. I was reviewing the video from the March 10th meeting and the March 24th meeting, mainly because I believe that there was questions that had been raised at those meetings, which I hadn't received follow-up on, and I'm not sure if anyone else on County Council had received follow-up on. At the March 10th meeting, I addressed some comments that were made at the Town of Blue Mountains meeting, and around the 2.5 hour mark, shortly before, I, in very clear terms, asked that Councillor Soever make an apology to this council for his role as chair of the meeting where the comments were made, because I said the chair should have called the member out of order, and that didn't happen. Anyways, in response to all the words that I said, at 2 hours and 24 minutes and 24 seconds in, Councillor Suaver said, many of our ratepayers are extremely concerned that there is not enough money left to deal with local concerns and that the service delivery, we can't have many of the rec centers and things like that that other surrounding municipalities have, because per household and even per $10,000 of median household income, we are paying far more taxes to Grey County and the school board. Now, I don't want to debate whether that itself is true or not. There is also another statistic at some point which comes out that talks about the median after-tax income per individual, which stood at about $33,000 per permanent individual, which stood at about $33,000. Same meeting at 2/27/25, he responded to the event itself that I brought up, saying, I don't recall that, I will review the video. So that brings me to my first question, Warden Hicks. Has he reviewed the video? Going forward to March 24th, this was the meeting where Councillor Sampson's letter of resignation / apology was received by County Council. At this meeting, at about an hour, 21 minutes in, Councillor Suaver raised the issue again of the amount of money leaving our community and not returning. At 1 minute 24, I raised the issue that if Town of Blue Mountains is not willing to raise their taxes at the local level, Grey County cannot be held responsible for it, and you called me on a point of order. Now, Warden Hicks, I love numbers. I understand that they provide important data as to support a lot of things. One of the things that stuck with me was when Councillor Suaver said that they didn't have enough money to build rec centers. I don't know how that is true. That it's up to them really, because Grey Highlands has 4 arenas that we finance and we don't complain about the taxes at the county. Nonetheless, I did run the numbers. Most of these numbers come from the budget documents that are published by the Town of Blue Mountains. Over the 3 budgets that were debated in 2019, 2020, and 2021, the average increase across the 9 Grey County municipalities was 10.91% over those 3 years. Town of Blue Mountains was at 8.85% increase. Now, this is just the local levy, not the county levy and the education levy included on it. So that there tells me that they have room to increase their taxes, or they've made policy decisions to provide a certain service level. That is a Town of Blue Mountains policy decision and not for me to comment on. I want us to keep in mind that I'm commenting on the fact that they're unable to provide services because they pay too much to the county. And as established earlier, Warden Hicks, the Treasurer Spicer mentioned, it is the same tax rate that is levied across the county. I did a further analysis on the tax rate itself. Over those 3 years, over those 3 budgets, the tax rate on average across the 9 Grey County municipalities went up 4.02%. Town of Blue Mountains was the only municipality which saw a decrease. Their tax rate dropped by 3.15%. So again, there is room to increase the tax rates there. And if they're unwilling to do that for whatever reason, it could be political, it could be policy or operational, not for me to discuss and not for me to debate on. Further, I also looked at the total tax bill as a percentage of the average assessment. The average assessment numbers, Warden Hicks, come from the 2016 census, and these numbers were reported in the Town of Blue Mountains tax documents. I'd like to point out that Town of Blue Mountains obviously tops the average assessment at $637,000, $637,047. Now, this is where the issues come in. their tax bill, their total tax bill as a percentage of the median or average assessment is, again, the lowest in the county. At one point on March 10th, Councillor Soever mentions that they pay 55%, I believe was the number he suggested, to the county and school board and keep 40% or 45% for themselves. I'd like to point out that in 2019, their tax bill as a percentage of the average assessment was 27% below the average for Grey County. That same number was 29% below the average in 2020 and 30% below the average in 2021. Again, when we look at the tax bill as a percentage of the average assessment, they're the only ones whose tax bill actually decreased. And that's the total. So that does include county and education. I then further looked at the numbers for the local tax bill as a percentage of the average assessment. And once again, they were at the local level, it's worse because they're 46% below the Grey County average in 2019, 49 in 2020, and 50% below average in 2021. So when Councillor Soever sits here and says that they cannot build rec centers because they pay too much to the county, I don't know what he's talking about. And when I asked that he apologized and he says that he will review the tapes and get back to me, and then comes back to the next council meeting and says that those concerns that were raised by Councillor Sampson are valid, I think that's, I'm sorry, I recognize that I'm breaking decorum here, but to maintain decorum in the face of whatever it is Councillor Soever thinks he's doing is wrong and unethical, I would add. And what Councillor Soever is doing by blaming the county for the policy decisions or the failures of Town of Blue Mountains Council is, quite frankly, shouldn't be on to us. So when Councillor Sampson sits at Blue Mountains Council and says, I don't know who needs to be knocked up the side of the head to wake up and see this, again, raise your taxes locally, because that's what we've done in the other 8 municipalities. We have made the tough decisions because we have recognized.
Mr. Warden, I'd like to call a point of order on Councillor Desai. He's called Councillor Soever unethical. He's disparaged Town of Blue Mountain staff. I don't think this is the proper forum for that.
I'll give Councillor Desai an opportunity to wrap up.
Very well. I said what he did was unethical. I didn't say Councillor Soever was unethical. I haven't said anything about the staff at the Town of Blue Mountains. I have mentioned that council perhaps hasn't made the tough decisions. So maybe I've disparaged council, but if Councillor Bourdignon does indeed feel that what I have said is incorrect, he should feel free to tell me that they have made tough decisions. But
Through
anyways,
the warden, I'm sorry, Councillor Desai, but you just talked about the staff. And again, it's not the forum to do that. So if you want to review tapes, we could do that. But again, this seems to
hold
have
on.
drifted off of county business.
If you want to raise, if you want to raise a point of order or something like that, please make sure that you get my permission before you speak, okay?
My apologies.
No worries. Councillor Desai, I'm going to ask you to wrap it up, please.
Councillor Bourdignon might have missed his calling as Amber Heard's lawyers based on his points of orders called against me, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not sure when I mentioned staff. I said that council hasn't made the tough decisions, and anyways, well, I'm sure Councillor Soever will review the tapes. So I'll go back to my first question, which was, did he review the tapes following the March 10th meeting? And is he going to make an apology to this council for his role as chair at the meeting that was brought up on March 10th? Thank you, Warden Hicks.
Thank you, Councillor Desai, and Councillor Soever, I'll give you an opportunity to respond if you choose to.
Yes, I'll respond. I certainly did review the tape. I after that, I talked to Councillor Sampson. He was the one who made the remarks. He submitted an apology to this council as well as his resignation. And that I consider my portion in the matter closed. I did not respond to the remark when it was made. I may have, in the debate, I think both myself and other members of council might have missed that. Certainly for that, I would apologize. But I did talk to Councillor Sampson, and then subsequently, based on my conversation with him, he decided to resign from this body. So I consider the matter, as far as Councillor Sampson is concerned, closed. I do take exception to some of Councillor Desai's remarks. He has a way of playing with numbers. I told him I would be happy to discuss and explain my remarks to him. He did not take me up in that offer. He did neglect to note that part of the conversation that we had previously. So, I would just,
Point of order? Point of order, Warden Hicks?
Sorry, hold on. No, just 1 second. Councillor Sewever, I'm just going to allow you to, Councillor decide to raise his point of order.
I reiterate my offer to
Sorry,
meet with
Councillor
him.
Sewever? Councillor Sewever?
Yes,
Councillor Desai is raising a point of order, and I'm going to allow him to go ahead with that point of order, and then I'll let you continue.
Thank you, Warden Hicks. I do take exception to the fact that he said, I have a way of playing with numbers. That is incorrect. I have presented the data that was in the Town of Blue Mountains budget documents, and that's what I have presented.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you there. It's not a point of order. Councillor Sewever?
yes.
Continue.
And so I reiterate my offer to meet with them and explain that. I would also point out that all this excitement that's caused by Councillor Sampson's motion to look at was a request to our staff to merely do the financial analysis, to have our treasurer and her finance admin staff to do the financial analysis to see what that relationship looks like and what another relationship may look like. All council wanted to do was get the right numbers. And there's, as Councillor Desai has rightly pointed out, it's not that simple. When you look at it in a very simple way, the average per $10,000 of median household income, the average household in the Blue Mountains pays $341.27 to the county and the school board. And the average for the other municipalities, which in the analysis, we included Clearview, Wazaga Beach, and Collingwood, which actually bring it up a little bit, is 219. So basically, our residents are paying 3.4% of their median household income to other levels of government, where the average for others is 219. And in Hanover, for instance, it's only 1.64%. So, we're more than double on a per $10,000 of median household income. So that requires a lot more work to figure out why that is. It is quite simply because of the high assessments, but high assessments don't necessarily give you the ability to pay taxes because you have to live somewhere. So if you're an elderly retired person living in a wood frame house in the Blue Mountains, and all of a sudden you find out it's worth $800,000, where it might be worth $400,000 in other parts of Grey County, you are carrying quite a bit more of a tax burden than the elderly retired person in another part of Grey County, which means that when the town looks at its ability to raise taxes, when these seniors are already under pressure, it makes it very difficult. And all we're trying to do with this motion is get the right numbers, so we don't have these kind of conversations where council members are throwing numbers back and forth. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we're going to wrap it up there, right? Council, is there any other business? Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to let council know that Warden Hicks has submitted a written notice of a leave of absence beginning May 1st, 2022 until after the June 2nd provincial election due to his candidacy in the upcoming provincial election. For the duration of his leave of absence, Deputy Warden McLean will chair the council and committee of the whole meetings. Alternate member from Hanover, Councillor Harold Fleet, will attend council meetings and committee of the whole meetings during that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other business? Seeing none, then I'm looking now for a motion to adjourn. Oh, sorry, are there any notices of motion? My apologies. Any notices of motion? Going once, twice? Gone? Okay, then we are looking for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Milne. Somebody online, seconded by Councillor Mackey. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you very much.